Hello, and welcome back to another beautiful and fabulous episode of Fabulous and Prosecco. I was adjusting my seat just before we went live, so let me try to get you back up there. There we go. Okay. Speaking of all things Prosecco, I think my household is just out there. Well. Let me adjust my Okay. House in the background. Okay, so speaking of Prosecco, I actually have something more amazing for you guys that I am sitting on. Same place as Prosecco comes from, which is Italy. I am drinking, actually, it's not, I should let the bottle because it's not Prosecco, but it is a sparkling wine from Italy. Now, typically, a sparkling wine from Italy, if it's made the champagne method, it's not called champagne unless it's from Champagne, France. But a sparkling wine from Italy is considered a Prosecco, technically. But there's also actual Prosecco that you can make. I don't think you can make Prosecco anywhere. I think it has to come from Italy. However, this is not a Prosecco. I ran into this wine. I ran into this wine at my local. It was a convenience store when I was a kid. Now it's a liquor store, which just sucks because they have less options for food and everything. But for the most part, it is a liquor store now, and they had this thing for this bottle of sparkling for $4, and you can't beat $4. Because I am also live on what I call the TikTok machine at the same time, so I'm looking back and forth. That's what I'm doing. But people on TikTok, that's what's going to go. You look at my little poster. Okay, I'm not making direct eye contact. Sorry. My YouTube family is this. But today I want to talk about all things Miss America and just talk about it just real quick because I haven't talked about Miss America pretty much none this cycle because I just haven't really kept up with it. And my goal was to try to keep up with it better going into this season because the national pageant is tomorrow on Sunday night. So I usually am very good at what's happening and just knowing all the ins and outs about what's going on. But for whatever reason, this one kind of fell behind the wayside. Okay. I feel like this is doing so much to my... So let's talk Miss America real fast. Miss America Outstanding. Miss America, I don't even know if it's called Outstanding Team. I don't know, Miss America team? Miss America's team? I don't know what the new name for it is nowadays. Oh, I should have brought my tablet. If I get up, you guys can see the pants I have on, which are shorts. And I'm on my phone, so I guess I'll just have to use the Googler, a schmoogler. Okay, but anyway, I am drinking a sparkling wine, which is from Italy. Let's see what Miss America is coming. Their teen pageant nowadays. So I thought it was still considered outstanding teen up until today, and that's just probably this music being dated. Miss America's team. So America apostrophe as team. That's what they're calling it. That's what I want to go by. Miss America's team. So the Miss America's teen pageant happened today. Arkansas won. She was really good. I actually have her miss as well. There's a few states where the miss and the teen are both coming very, very strong. But I had Arkansas in on stage question. She dominated and she did really good in her talent. So really no surprise there for the teen. Really no surprise to the top 5 at all for the teen competition. Now, I don't want to talk too much about the teen pageant because I haven't kept up with the teens at all, and I don't feel like it's appropriate to talk about teen competitors in the same light that I talk about the Miss competitors because people get their feelings hurt. And I don't want to hurt feelings over here for teenagers because that's a very vulnerable time. But Miss can handle some criticism because it's all about growth. I feel like a lot of Miss are, we're just better at taking criticism, you know what I'm saying? And, or dismissing what people have to say. But just know that, like I always say, when my predictions come up, I don't miss. And so there was a few teams who delivered, but they fell by the wayside on some of the stuff that they did. And that's why I'm like, oh, you probably could have clinched this title if X, Y, and Z was figured out. But I'm not their coach. I'm not a good team coach. I'm better off with the older girls or the babies, the kids who want to do it specifically. Because if not, then I feel like it's hard to coach people like that. And of course, as a teenager, you have like body image things going on. So I'm not going to talk too much about the teen competition. Overall, I thought it was very good. Oh, I got the hiccups now. But I'm not going to lie. I don't even know if I want to say it. When I watched the Miss pageant and the teen pageant, something about the production of it made me like kind of like a little bit bored, and I'm not exactly sure why or when, at what point the production kind of fell by the wayside for me. But it was just something about both of the competitions where my attention, it was hard for me to stay 100% in tune to what was happening because it was just kind of like a little lackluster. I think that's the best way of putting it. And I hate to say it like that too. But it did feel just a little bit maybe moving slow. Even though it necessarily wasn't even moving slow either. Okay. Does that make sense? Like, especially the Miss. At the Miss, when I watched it today, so I didn't watch it live, but I ended up pausing it right before evening gown to take a walk and go get some food. And I was like this show is, I don't know, it wasn't like it was dragging on, but I think that's how all prelim pageants are, honestly, where it's just so many girls that you honestly get lost in the sauce. And that, with that being said, I have two things to say. I have two things to say in regards to so many girls. And mind you, this was only 50 girls, 52 contestants in both categories. And so it's not like this was an out of the ordinary prelim pageant where there's like 100 girls like at Miss USA. But I have to give it up specifically when it came to the Miss. Let me look at my notes. Wisconsin and Wyoming and Washington for Miss. Yes. Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. We call it Wisconsin here in Illinois. They delivered. For them to be the very last contestants out, I thought Wisconsin in particular did such a good job. Such a good job. I've had her for On Stage Question. She did really good. I have her for fitness, and I have her in gown. So pretty much she's across the board, 100% in my book. And I always pay attention to Wisconsin because I just live an hour from Wisconsin on a good day. But surprisingly, for them to be the last contestants to go, my eyes were still paying attention. I was paying attention to Miss Wisconsin. And mind you, I do not have anybody's names, and I do apologize for that sincerely, but we move on. Okay, I'm going to try to bring this up for my people on YouTube so you guys can see as I talk about this. Okay. Give me a second. Let me pull up the contestants so we can get this party on the road. But overall, I don't know. Also, something to go on a mini rant about, because I know that times are changing. But, and this is something I talked about with a few of my friends earlier today, my pageant friends. I know times are hard financially for everybody, big businesses included, organizations like Miss America included. However, and it hurts me to say this, I understand that everyone has to make money when it comes to these pageants. You know, I get that. But to have the Miss America pageant, the prelim competition, the talent competition, specifically those two, behind a paywall, $40? $40? I had to get someone to sponsor me being able to watch the Miss America prelim competition because I did not want to come out of pocket $40. I asked someone for the money, yes, because I cannot fathom paying $40 to watch the oldest pageant, a staple pageant for us pageant folks. This pageant should be free. Now, I don't remember in years past how we did the prelim competition. I know the prelims weren't live on TV, but I do know, however, I watched prelims before, it was free. It was readily available. And so for me to see that I had to pay $40, $39.99 to be exact. It wasn't $40. Let me not exaggerate. It wasn't $40. It was $39. It just breaks my heart because, and this is no shade to anyone involved, I just personally think that Miss America, Miss USA, and Miss Universe should all be a free pageant to view on a viewer standpoint, because you have people who probably don't have the means to pay that extra amount to watch this pageant, and they probably just want to sit and watch it, you know, because it's Sunday night. You know, there's nothing else on TV. And I think that a lot of people watch the pageant because they were able to click through it and they happened to see it on TV. I remember the days when Miss America had like an hour-long special before the show started, like Behind Miss America, when it aired on ABC. Those are the days that I miss. Give me some behind-the-scenes footage of what it took for the girls to get here in an hour-long special ahead of the show. Kind of like the Grammys do, or the Oscars, or the Emmys, or the Super Bowl, or any other thing that comes on primetime TV where they have an hour-long special ahead of time. I think it's in my eye, you guys. Okay. But it just hurts my heart to know that this is where we at. This is where we are at in the industry, where a major pageant system like Miss America is behind a paywall. Now, that's just the prelims, because I did hear and I saw that finals would be free. Beautiful. Love that. However, and I think it's going to be on YouTube, I was watching on Pageant Vision, the prelims for the Miss. The team, I was trying to watch it on Pageant Vision, but then I got an error message that said, I got two error messages. The first one said that I'm in line to watch it and not to worry, that they're going to give me the best experience ever. Cool. As I was waiting in line via the computer, I got the 505 internal error server message. And after refreshing it, I realized this message was not going to go away. So I think something happened to the Pageant Vision server where maybe there was too many people watching this pageant at the same time, and they couldn't accommodate the load of people who will want to watch. That's my theory. But my friend told me it's on YouTube for free, and on Pageant Vision it was free, and so I watched it on YouTube instead. Fine. That way I can still have it on my TV. But for me to watch the Miss America prelim competition, when I tell you guys, I had to hook my computer up. I paid first. I got sponsored. Paid first, and then had to take off my Roku HDMI cord, plug it into my computer, into the TV, so that I could watch this pageant on TV, because I didn't want to watch on my computer. I don't want to sit and watch this pageant on my computer. I want to watch it on TV like it was designed to be made. And I couldn't figure out how to put Pageant Vision on the TV without using an HDMI cord. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but that was my viewing experience. So my computer is behind the TV. I closed it a little bit, turned it around so I couldn't see it, and I had it airing on the television. Which then means if I wanted to pause it, I had to get up and pause it. Like, what is this? This is Miss America. You know, like a staple in this pageant space. That's my rant. That was a long rant. I just want better for the whole industry, because I don't want this to become standard. And I know it already is. And I know that when it comes to being on TV and being on primetime television, I know that also comes with stipulations too. I heard some directors say like it's harder to put a pageant on TV because the network is going to require something, because they do want it to be entertainment. And I get that. I also did not. One reason why I don't like it on TV is because when it's 9:00 and that show is done at 9:00 and they are crowning, it cuts off immediately to the news. Immediately. The confetti is falling. It doesn't even hit the ground before it's like breaking news tonight. And it's like, dang, I did want to see more of the celebrations and the crowning of the crowning, you know, like when the girls are hugging everybody and everyone's just running up and they're all like cheering. I do like to see more of that. And that was the only downside to TV, is that they did cut that off at 9:00. The news came on like clockwork. That was frustrating, you know. So that's why it is kind of good, because on Pageant Vision, they did hold that shot a little bit longer and allowed me to enjoy that little part that I enjoy watching so much. So that is the benefit of it. Pageant Vision is also making money from it, so I can't be mad at a hustle. They did a good job production-wise. From someone who works in television, I do not like seeing the camera people. That kind of breaks what we call the fourth wall. So that does suck that we saw two camera guys going back and forth on stage, because it kind of just adds a little bit of like, it takes away some of the je ne sais quoi to it. You know, it just takes away just a little bit of je ne sais quoi when you break that fourth wall. And I'm seeing a cameraman run on stage with a camera trying to get the shot of the girl. To each his own. That was just a minor thing. It didn't really bother me none. I just felt like it was just awkward. And then I saw it in pictures too, for the team specifically. When a team got crowned today, it was a picture of a camera in her crowning shot, because the guy was standing right there. And I'm just like, whatever. But, I mean, if you don't work in television, then there's not much I can really like harp on about, because to each his own, you know what I'm saying? To each his own. And this isn't my organization yet. And maybe one day it will be. Okay, I did not want this to go on too long, so let's get this thing started. That's all I really have about the team. Congratulations to Arkansas. I do not know. I'm sure I can find it if I really just search real fast. I do know her last name was Nicole, let me not lie. I didn't remember her last name, but something. And it doesn't look like they posted it. Oh, yeah, turn this off. TikTok, turn off. Okay. TikTok, I was trying to have someone go live with you. No, you don't. It's not even on Miss America's page yet. Unless I'm just not finding it. I'm trying to find her name. But I know she's from Arkansas. So congratulations. Like I said, that wasn't a surprise for me. She did really good. So I really wasn't too surprised. But for a reason, it's not on their page. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about a few things. Some things that I enjoyed the most. I enjoyed the whole competition. I just don't know why, for whatever reason, it just felt like it was just taking its time. And not in a bad way at all. It just felt kind of, I don't know how to put it. Okay. Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna pull up. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. So these are the contestants for Miss America 2025. Class of 2025. I don't know what pageants are doing nowadays when it comes to the actual numbers. But if this is like the second, I know it's not that. Okay. So here we are. These are the contestants for Miss America. All 52 states, including Puerto Rico, who I actually think also did really good for Miss as well. Like, really good. So some of my favorites. Okay, just looking at, and then I'm gonna attempt to predict the winner. You know, I always like to do my research before I give my educated guess of a hypothesis on the winner. I don't want to say anything final, but I probably will, because I talk a lot and things just happen. So I always like to be steadfast in my predictions because I do not miss. So I'm going to give you guys a pretty good solid 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girls who I strongly believe have this in the bag. Okay. Starting with Wisconsin. Okay, let's just start from the back of the alphabet. Actually, let's go ahead and take a sip because I do have my sparkling wine. And I wish I looked at the bottle because I think this is a sparkling wine. Oh, and I was going to say also, if it is, it could be made, wine can be made champagne method, which means that they did the same process that you would do to make a champagne, but they can't legally call it a champagne because it wasn't made in Champagne, France. But it used the same type of yeast and the process to make it into a champagne. So on a bottle, you might see champagne method, or I think like in French, it says like the champagne on it. That means that it's pretty much similar to champagne. It's like the fraternal twin sister. If not, it's a sparkling wine from insert area here. So today I do have my sparkling wine from Italy. This is actually the last of it, so it looks like a lot. I'm still in the Christmas celebrations, so there's that. Okay, let's get it jumping. I don't want this episode to be too long, which is what I say about every episode. So, got my pen out. The scoring for prelims goes like this. Interview is 30%, physical fitness is 20, on-stage question is 10, talent is 20. That talent is judged by a separate panel. Talent was also watched by a separate set of audience members because let me tell you, I didn't pay for it. And you know what's also good about Pageant Vision, I guess? that they did have a bundle deal. For $100, you could watch all of their footage. Prelims, talent, a red carpet gala, and I can't remember what the other thing was. For $100. If not, it was $39.99 for each, except for finals were free. And that's me. I guess it's not a bad deal. It's not the worst deal in the world, but ultimately you're paying $100 to watch this pageant. When it was free. And I can imagine if that server crashed, how many people were watching that pageant today? Mind you, today's pageant, the finals was free. But if they're watching prelims, they probably made bank. Let's just imagine. I don't know if I do the math right now. I don't have a calculator on me. But, that's probably one on my computer. Let me look. Calculator. All right. Back in the day, used to call it a calculator. Let me just see what this math could even possibly be of how much money Pageant Vision made. And now, mind you, this is also minus, salaries or a stipend for their employees. Okay, so I'm just gonna round up to $40. Okay, if even 500 people watch this pageant, that's $20,000. And let's say not that many watch. Let's say maybe just 250 people watch. That's still 10 bands. And at least 52 people watch. One contestant family member from each state. That's still $2,000. And I watched. So it had to be at least 52. But for a server to crash, I don't know anything about technology like that on the back end, but I don't know what it would take for a server to crash like that. Maybe 10,000 people. 40 times 10,000. I don't even know. Maybe that's too high. Yes, that's $400,000 that Pageant Vision could possibly be making from this. And that's just me being cheap and only buying the one. Imagine someone paid $100. If you had 100 people pay $100 for that, like, what are you talking about here? And where is that money going? Is it going to Pageant Vision? Is it going to Miss America? Is it going to scholarships? Is it going in people's pockets? Which I assume it will. But I don't know. I don't think that's good for the industry at all. I don't want any pageants that are mainstream pageants behind a paywall. Now, if it's a pageant that we can't see regularly, America's prettiest, majestic star of the South, okay. If Grandma Lucy, rest in peace, my Grandma Lucy. If Grandma Lucy wants to watch that in Minnesota and pageants in Orlando, okay, maybe she could pay $12 to watch that on Pageant Vision. But a regular Miss America pageant should not be behind a paywall. And I would say that until the good Lord says, maybe just stop talking. But I don't think it should be behind a paywall at all. Now, mind you, I guess it was always behind a paywall because we always get the cable. So teach us home. Okay. So anyway, talent is judged by a separate audience. A separate judging panel. Or is it a selection committee? I don't know. I think you guys, I am starting to realize that I'm getting old. Back in my day, we called them judges. And now they are a selection committee. But I think that they actually do call it a judge, because I think I saw that on their CG today. So the judges. So it's a separate panel judging talent, which to me is actually very, very interesting, because I wonder who that panel was. And I'm sure if I was able to afford it, I would have saw the judges announced. However, that would have been $80. And at that point, I should have paid for everything. You guys can you feel the frustration in my voice? Ugh. Okay. If I was gonna pay $80 to watch it, then I could have just paid $100 to just have access to everything. But anyway, so having a separate judging panel of talent is interesting to me. I wonder who was on that panel. And I wonder if the people on that panel were people who are in the entertainment related field. Like, were they dancers and were they singers and things like that? Because that will make it even more interesting versus having a judging panel that judges the whole competition. And maybe some people are specialized in being a lawyer or someone who's in communications and PR who don't have much of a entertainment artist background, and they judge differently when it comes to talent versus someone who is trained in some talent, judging talent differently. You know what makes sense? Like, I think one of the benefits to having someone who doesn't know anything about on-point ballet is that when you are slightly off point in ballet and your toes curl instead of they won't care. But if you have someone who has danced at the Joffrey for 30 years and is teaching ballet, then it's like, oh snap, I gotta make sure everything is straight and in line because they can tell my toes are pointed, you know, and they might give you a 9 instead of a 10 because they can see that. Versus someone like me who doesn't have that kind of stuff trained, and I'm like, oh, that looked like a good pirouette. I don't even know if that was a pirouette. That could have been a microette, but I think that was pretty good. I'm judging off of the whole performance instead of micro things. So curious to know about the talent judges and their expertise, because that will also factor into my notes. So I'm doing all of this and pretty much judging all of this without even looking at the talent portion. And I just realized that, so I don't think I can even give you guys a great educated guess because I don't know what their talents are. Because it costs $40 to watch it. And so maybe if someone sponsors me being able to watch talent, then I can watch the talent. But I'm not gonna lie to you, watching 52 talents, that's just I don't know. I don't know if I can do that before tomorrow evening. All right, I'm taking notes because I just realized I don't have that POV, so I don't know if I can give an educated guess anymore, and that sucks. All right, and then we have evening gown, which is 20%. Okay. Some things I did like about the pageant. I did enjoy. Overall, I feel like I have more negative to say than positive, but it's only because I love this industry so much. The positive side was that I think it was a very good production when it came to the teen finals. And I'm saying this to be polite, and this is shade, 100% shade. I don't know what kind of chokehold Pitbull has on us. I don't know. I don't know the chokehold that song has on us. But in 2025, can we not play any more Pitbull songs on pageants? If I hear dun 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 1, 2, 3, 4, or Mr. Worldwide again at any pageants, I'm just gonna walk out. I don't care what I paid to get in. There is just some songs that I'm just like, did nothing new come out? Do we have no new music for these numbers? I was so sick of Pitbull. And then for, was it Fitness? They replayed that song 3 times. Because they had 3 groups, and each group had the song from the beginning again. I'm sure there is another upbeat song that exists that Pitbull does not have. And not just that, but that song is so old. At that point, I thought that song came out in 2016. Do we not have any new Pitbull songs? There has to be some. The pageant industry as a whole has a strong chokehold on some of these songs, and I'm just like, let it go. Let it go. And I could just think of a few off the top of my head. Does that make me confident? Oh, what's got to be? That song? Let it go. Let's leave that in 2024. Another song that is always played, and I think it's by Dua Lipa. And I'm just like, oh my God, I hear this at every single pageant. Directors, we need to be more creative when it comes to song selection. But specifically, I'm so sick of hearing Pitbull. He already did Miss Universe or Miss USA. Let's let Pitbull rest, okay? I don't want to hear another Pitbull song in 2025 at any pageant. Specifically, that one with J-Lo. And I honestly, all things considered, if you listen to the lyrics, which I've heard the lyrics a few times because it played 3 times during the prelims, I don't think that song's appropriate. And I don't know if anyone actually heard the lyrics of those songs, but I don't think that is very appropriate, nor is it in line with Miss America. Miss America has always been known as like the girl next door. If you heard the lyrics of that song, they're talking about clubbing, and it was a lot of like innuendos that it just didn't feel appropriate. It doesn't feel appropriate, but you're not going to hear the lyrics because the song's so upbeat. We're talking about the Miss America pageant, and I don't know. I think there's some more songs we can find. I'm sure Sabrina Carpenter has some song. I don't know if that's appropriate either, but I'm just tired of Pitbull, and I put no more Pitbull. I also put no more turns. Okay, now this is specifically about fitness. I know as a pageant girl, when they got rid of the swimsuit category, I know that was low key. Everyone was like, yes. Because I know the swimsuit category specifically is not the easiest phase of competition. Now, I don't know which part of competition will probably be the harder one, but swimsuit, I know that is kind of like mentally tough. It's tough on a few ideas. Because one, you need to come ready. You need to come correct before the show, right? You got to work out before. So, and swimsuit is not forgiving at all. You can't hide, those Mike and Ike's in a swimsuit, specifically the ones that they had from Miss USA at one point, because everything was showing. Pretty much just your girl was covered, and Betsy and Ross were covered up here. But that is not a competition, an area competition that is one that you can escape or go easy on. And I'm saying all this to say, walking in heels and swimsuit on stage is a task. It is a whole task in itself, and it's challenging. Not impossible, obviously, because you see it happen. But I know that when Miss America got rid of it, a lot of people were happy. I was against it because this is a pageant. I think fitness should be a part of it. So for them to incorporate a fitness category into this pageant again, it's nice to see. And I also know that as a pageant girl, if I can get away from wearing heels on stage, I will. So I know all this is going to come back around. Give me a second. I know for a fact that when Miss America said we're doing a fitness competition, the first thing that anybody thought about when it came to that portion of competition for those who are competing is, yes, I can wear gym shoes. Yes, I can do anything on stage now because I am in gym shoes and I am not wearing heels. So I do not have to worry about my walk. That also means when it came to those turns today during prelims, baby, Those girls were doing everything but a jumping jack back handspring, ground off back handspring. Because the turns I saw, I know for a fact I would have never saw those turns in swimsuit if it had those Catalina or Marc Defangs or the Chinese laundry heels. I know for a fact I wouldn't have saw those turns. And I think a lot of the reason why some girls are going to be eliminated when it comes to the top 11, I think they're calling on Sunday, is because of those turns. Now, I just know walking in gym shoes on pageants has to be the best thing in the world. Like, because you are just 1,000 times relaxed because you don't have to balance yourself, right? However, that doesn't mean that you can just go up there and just do anything. Some of those girls were turning, and I know for a fact, why do I feel like I competed in gym shoes when I did Miss USA last year? I do remember this one girl turning. Maybe she was wearing heels. There was one girl who competed with me, and someone kept saying she was doing these crazy turns. But I don't think we had gym shoes on at all. I think, we had swimsuit. I had heels. I don't know what she was doing, how she was doing those turns. But it gives you, wearing gym shoes, the ease of having to wear gym shoes makes you feel more relaxed, so you can feel like you could do anything. So those turns today were very loose, very, very loose. You still have to be structured and controlled in your turns. You have to be, or else you're gonna look all over the place. And when I tell you, some of those girls for the Miss America, we're talking about Miss America, I'm not talking about team, we're talking about Miss specifically now. Some of the reasons why some girls can be eliminated is because their turns were out of control. You could tell they had no center of gravity, and they had too much momentum in their turn, and they kind of lost balance because they were flicking themselves around. And a lot of that could have been the energy in the room and the song, but you have to be structured, and you have to be coached, and you have to have a sense of control in that moment. And the girls who stood out to me the most had the most control, not only in their turns, but in the whole presentation, and they didn't lose it in the moment. And I know that if the girls would have had on heels, the turns would have been way better. And I know simply because we had on those gym shoes, what I saw out there, wasn't what I would want to see on the pageant stage. If it was me and I watched the tape and I did that, I would be disappointed in myself. So, I have to say, here are my standouts in fitness. Not necessarily because of the turns, but because of the whole presentation. But I put no more turns. I also mentioned how I did not like that the girls, I think the judges should also be at the end of a runway, because the judges were off to the side of the T stage, and so the girls stopped there. So pretty much they were only judged from walking out from the back of the stage to where the T kind of starts, and not the long part of the T. And so for that reason, I'm guessing the choreographer of the stage told them don't stop at the end of the stage and to do a loop-the-loop. And some people's loop-the-loop was also a hot mess. Fortunately, the judges weren't looking. I assume the judges were just looking straight and not what's going on at the rest of the runway. But it had all the contestants looking down and to the side. None of them was looking at the camera because the camera was straight on, looking straight at them, but they're looking down to the side, the judges who are in this little corner part of the stage. So I think that we need to have the judges at the end of the runway and allow the girls full walk to be judged, not just 0.2 seconds of them walking straight and posing. That's pretty much all that it was. Because once they walk past them, the judging score is pretty much done. And then they had to walk back up the runway and go past judges and walk past the next girl. And I'm sure judges aren't even looking at the girl that just finished. They focus on who's next. So your score is pretty much done before you hit the runway. And that also means that the girls weren't stopping at the end of the runway, which means it's a disservice to the audience. At least let them go up there and pose. But some of them, I could tell that they said, do not stop. I could tell that was their, what they were told by the choreographer was don't stop at the end of the runway. So they went down there did a loop the loop and then walk back. And then some people did some crazy turns, and I'm just like, please let them pose, because I could tell they probably said keep the momentum going. Please let the girl stop and pose. That way they can at least pause in their walk, because some people have so much momentum, they probably fell when they got off stage simply because they were just doing just so much puffing and puffing around. Okay. The person. Okay. All right. Anyway, it's been 45 minutes. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry. Let's get to it. I also love how they had the workout videos in the back. That was a nice little touch. I did like that. And I specifically enjoyed, who was it? Nebraska. She had on skates in her video. And that to me stood out the most, because everyone else was lifting these weights, doing these big exercises. And that was cute. But Nebraska had on skates in her video. And you might not think I noticed that Nebraska, but I did notice that. And I appreciate the creativity in that, because anyone can stretch and do yoga. But and some girls I know cheated the system and did their little ballet stuff, and I was like, I know that's your talent. Why are you doing your talent for fitness? Okay, it works because this isn't scored. It's the video in the back. But Nebraska with those skates in the back of the video, if you guys know about the video backstage, that to me was a nice little touch, and that stood out to me because everyone else was lifting weights or running around, and that's good thinking. That was good thinking. My standouts for fitness, and here we are, I'm going to show them here on screen, is Alabama, Arkansas, and I put a star next to Arkansas because I like it the most, or one of the most. I have Miss Georgia here. I think Georgia is actually like one of my standouts. I'll make some notes, you guys. Okay, I have Arkansas and Georgia that I just mentioned. I also have Hawaii, who did really good. I also have her kind of going far. I have a note about Hawaii, but I don't want to get canceled, so I'll let that go. Illinois, I actually met Illinois, Brianna Bailey, at the gym, so I know she actually does work out. I met her when she had her local title, and I don't know what it was, Miss Central Illinois, I think maybe. And then she went on to win Illinois, and I was like, oh my God, that's the complete gym. But I knew that she was competing for Miss Illinois because I was also competing for Miss Illinois USA. So we both like coach each other in that moment. She watched me walk and I watched her dance. So I was really happy that she won. I was like, oh, the girl played you won. I got her cool. All right. Iowa, who I think is also really good. I also had her really good in gown. I liked her looking down. Also for fitness, I had Kentucky and I had Louisiana. Oh, that's a cute picture. I had Massachusetts, and I have Massachusetts in North Carolina. Wait, I think that's Massachusetts. Ooh, I'm not large. Oh yes. I think it was Massachusetts. Now that I look at her headshot, I had Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? I had the van free. MISS, ISS, IPPI, Missouri, right next to her. New Jersey, I thought she was so pretty. North Dakota, also. Ohio stood out to me a lot. Ohio stood out to me in more than one category. Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Washington State. Wait, oh, DC is here. Okay, Washington State, Wisconsin, like I mentioned before, and Wyoming. And I literally was going so fast, you guys. I spelled Wyoming W-H-Y, like Y. Okay, so those are the girls who I had in my fitness. And then I went back to look on the Miss America page. And Ohio, South Carolina, and Wisconsin won the fitness preliminary competition. And I didn't know that until after I took notes. Which means I know what I'm doing. IME for coach. Okay, so Ohio, South Carolina, and Wisconsin won the preliminary fitness competition. Now, that's important to note because historically, when you win a preliminary competition in Miss America, that's 9.2 times out of 10 means you are probably advancing. And fitness is worth just as much as talent. An interview is worth the most, and I think they did give away preliminary interview awards. I'm not sure. I have to look at the page. But so it looks like one of those three girls, Ohio, South Carolina, or Wisconsin, is going to advance. Personally, for me, I think it's Wisconsin. I already said this before. I think she's going to do super well. Super well. Okay. So, and I also think that Texas is also going to advance as well. And I think Ohio is as well. I think all three of them are going to advance to finals. Not just because they won, but fitness because of how they performed overall. All right. And then when it came to the on-stage question, I have Arkansas. I have her for fitness, and I start her again for on-stage question, which I will mention here in a second. My little bit peeve about on-stage question. California. I think she did really good. Florida. I put a star next to her. Georgia. I think she did really well. Hawaii again. Illinois again. Indiana. Indiana. Iowa. This is for on-stage question. Kansas. Louisiana. Massachusetts. Minnesota. Mississippi. Missouri. And I put a star next to her. Nebraska, and I put a star next to her. New York, which has a big shoes to fill because we know New York is good at these pageants. Ohio again, and I put a star next to her. Pennsylvania, Utah, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. And I starred Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, Nebraska, and Ohio. Now, for on-stage question, you guys already, I'm not gonna even lie to you. I wasn't a fan of them even asking a question because all the answers were already written and prepared and memorized and delivered. So why bother even asking a question? So they could have just said, the question was pretty much just an alley-oop to help them answer, to help them deliver their prepared speech, because all the questions were about their platform, which is fine. But if you're gonna have an on-stage question, I think that it has to be a level of improv and spontaneity that comes with it. You can't ask me a question that I already have the answer to and expect me to be judged on it, because that's not what that category is. You might as well just rename it and call it like personal statement and keep it 30 seconds still. And then the time didn't appear to matter because pretty much every girl went over the time limit anyway. So I don't know if the judging just stopped the minute that the bell went off or what, but like all those answers were staged. So why are we calling this on-stage question? Why even ask a question? Just be like, hey, Miss Wisconsin, tell me about mental health. And I'm sure she would have gave the same answer that she said tonight. So I don't know why they even bother. And I think the hard part about on-stage question is that you don't know the question. So you don't know how to answer. So you really do have to think on your feet. Like that's the whole point of it. So if I'm not thinking on my feet, I'm just delivering a mini essay. And then Terrence J, the host, said those girls, you think that they don't know what they're talking about because they just randomly put out a statistic and they really are that educated. And he had that all wrong because, and I'm paraphrasing, he said this during a teen final competition because the teens did the same thing. And I'm like, Terrence J, all these answers were prepared. These sound like rehearsed lines. It didn't matter what the question was. The girl could have said, why is mental health going up in the community? They would have said the same answer if that was their platform. It didn't matter what the question was. That statistic was already memorized. That was going to be said anyway. I think some girls did way better on their answer though, because it's prepared. You have time to write it out. And I wrote in my book, The Book of Beauty, which is available on my website, happinessandperspective.com, how to answer this question in 3 easy steps, 3 sentences to answer the entree's question. And some of the girls who I think did really well took the same strategy from my book. Hi, Kiwanis. Okay. But to me, that portion of the category, that portion of the competition was entirely too staged for me to take it like seriously. Because I'm just like, and at one point, Miss America did have that called personal statement. I think they should just keep it in that format where the girls will go up there and talk, and maybe the board behind them just says mental health or whatever topic. But for me to take it seriously as if this is like a random question, didn't work. And it could have fooled the judges, it could have fooled the audience, but it didn't fool me. Those answers were ready to go. All right, final category. All right, let me see what else I said about Anse's question. Because that was my biggest pet peeve. Like, why bother? That's what I said. Why ask a question? Like, why ask a question if the answers are ready? Almost all of them went over their time limit. Some of the outfits were a no. Like, you guys, so it's 2025. I think fashion and pageants need to up its game by a lot. And I know Miss America is girl next door, but some of the outfits the girls had on, I was like, girl, what is this? Are we going to church? There was one girl who I was for sure was a pastor's wife. What are you wearing? This is a pageant. I wish I could have had some good examples of the people who delivered. Missouri had a great answer. There was a teen who had on an ombre outfit. Let me write down here. Iowa. Miss Iowa teen had the best example of how you guys need to come correct. Let me see. Miss Iowa, Miss America's teen Iowa. Let me see if I can find it. This is the level of fashion that I want to see moving forward in our industry, because some of the fashion here is just dated, you guys. And I know that some people, don't have fashion sense, but that's why you hire a coach or a stylist, or go on Pinterest, see what's trending. Because some people just had like a blazer outfit on and it was like a cute little peplum at the bottom. Whatever. That doesn't do it for me. I just need a little bit more. Let's see. Was it? Oh no, that's Miss. That's the Miss. I wish I could find the teen outfit. I want to look for you guys, because I was just like, it was just some people were just so lackluster. And for this to be a pageant, I want to see the fashions. Like, I want to see the fashions. And I think there's just some looks that are just, like I said, dated and boring. And I know I can't show you guys much because of pageant versions, I can't copyright stuff. But I know I saw somewhere. I just want you guys to come stronger. Like, there's just some things that's just not gonna work anymore. And I think a traditional blazer outfit with like a little sparkle it's just not gonna work anymore. Okay, maybe this is it. But Iowa had the best outfit to me. I think out of everybody. There was another girl who had like an old school aesthetic looking outfit. With it was just like a high neck with the arms out. That also kind of worked for me too. Oh, she looks so cute. Let me see if it's on her Facebook page. But I was just like, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, that didn't work. And I think when you guys push the envelope, that's when it helps too. Oh, she doesn't have it on her Facebook page. Oh, maybe she does. Oh, yes, it's right here. Okay.
Iowa, Avery Bradley.
This is what I'm talking about. Look at this outfit. This is what we
Women remain underrepresented in STEM fields despite their immense potential to drive innovation and progress. How can we advocate for greater opportunities and inspire more young women to pursue education and careers in STEM?
Currently, females only make up 28% of the overall STEM workforce. Yet these are some of the fastest growing and the highest paying jobs of the future. It's critical to America that we are engaging more females in STEM. It's the lack of role models that is keeping girls out of these positions. They do not have anyone to look up to understand that they can pursue STEM. And so when I go into after school and out of school programs, I am being that role model for young girls to help them understand that they can break through glass ceilings.
She's not even doing a lot. But the pants like they're regular blue pants.
Iowa, Avery Bradley.
But come on, you guys. Like, just let's just try. Okay. Let's just attempt to try to up our style this year. Okay. Okay, sorry. Someone on TikTok is doing something. Oh, but it doesn't believe that I'm still on. Within an hour. Okay. Let's move on to gown, shall we? So for gown, here are some of my standouts. Arkansas, and that makes 3 in a row. Arkansas will win my golden ticket to finals. Arkansas, California, Georgia. I love Georgia and gown. She's really pretty. I have Hawaii again. It's at 3. Yep. Fitness on his question again. I love Hawaii. I have something to say about Hawaii, and I just, like I said, I don't want to get canceled. I'm gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it. I'll just say this. I don't know. I understand the need to have LGBTQ representation in this industry 100%. I just don't know if it has to be people's identity or their marketing brand when it comes to competing in a pageant. And you guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to brand. Like when we do pageants, some things are people's identity. And it's not just Hawaii who did this. I just don't know about like pushing some things that to me doesn't seem like a huge deal. For instance, and I say that because she says she's openly gay, and she said it a few times, and I don't know if that's necessary because she said it again during her evening gown, and then she went and talked about American Heart Association. Like, how did you go from your romantic interest to heart disease in a sentence? Very impressive, but why? You mentioned that she was openly gay in her onstage question, and she gave a great answer too, but her answer didn't pertain to her. It pertained to her partner. And it made it seem like it was forced. Like she tried to find a way to continue mentioning that she was gay. And to me, because it's 2025, I don't know that being gay makes a big deal anymore. Especially because if it's being gay. Now, I think that if, the transgender part of it is still pushing boundaries, and I think that is the progress that we're seeing. I have thoughts on that too. But I don't think that being gay, as a judge, I don't care if you're gay or straight. And I don't think that needs to be forced on us, because what difference is it going to make in a performance? And it's okay to say it a few times. I mean, it's okay to say it once. But she said it, and it was like her identity. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what was the strategy behind this? And is it working? Because although we have not had an openly gay Miss America, she could break barriers. And I'm glad she got it out now, as opposed to like after she wins and now everyone's like, oh my God, she's gay. Like, it's good to know that up front. But I don't think it has to be your identity. And there was some other, it wasn't just her, it was somebody else too. But overall, I think she did a really good job. Whether she was gay or straight, I think she did fine. So I don't think her being gay added anything to her performance. Interesting to know how her partner went to the Olympics. I think that's impressive. But for instance, there was somebody else too, and I don't want to talk about people's life because I can't relate. But for me, for instance, I have 1,000 moles. 1,000 moles. Literally, if I counted, it probably will be 1,000. Maybe it's 276. I don't count. But my moles are like regular size, very small moles. Like you might see a few here and there that have a whole bunch of my face, right? Oh, I have my foundation. So, and I know that there is a disease where people have like big moles on them, and I don't know if I had that disease. I didn't get checked. Maybe I do. Maybe I was a minor case of it. I don't know. But I know that there is a disease where you have like big moles. And so stuff like that is an outward thing. You might have to address it because we can see what's happening here. Being gay, it's not an outward thing. And it's not going to make or break how I feel about you. My brother is gay. I might be that person. I actually hate that I just said that because I hate for someone to say I have a best friend that's black. I hate that argument. But I don't really care. And I don't think that sexuality in that way makes a difference for pageants. Because I think it makes a difference for the kids you talk to and saying that it's okay to like girls. I think that's fine. But at the end of the day, her performance did just fine, whether she was straight or gay. So it didn't need to be identity. All I have to say, if I went up in front of judges, and I probably shouldn't say this, and I made my moles my entire life story, I probably wouldn't win. Because there's so much more that I have going on in my life besides my moles. I have 2 degrees. I'm a college professor. I have this podcast. I'm an author. I'm a TV reporter. I'm growing in the content creator space. There's a lot more I have going on. Things that have to do with my intellect and my drive, my ambition. And so I want to make a small health or sexuality issue my entire identity when it's not a defining factor in who I am as a person. And I wish I could be more specific, but there were people, I'll just say it, there was one contestant. There was actually two contestants, but only one that I noticed, who had type 1 diabetes. And she took a picture with Carlos in her evening gown with her blood sugar monitor in her arm showing. Like, she posed purposely so that way it shows. And like I said, I don't like to be that person. I know someone who does that. Because my dad is a diabetic, so he has one too. I know people who use that to biohack and make sure they are healthy. I don't think that is such a big deal in 2025. It's your identity. Now, if you need to wear your blood glucose monitor on stage for fitness, like two girls did wear, mention that in your interview. But I don't think that needs to be your entire life story, because there's probably so much more you have going on. And I just didn't like when I saw the picture of her posing with it. It's like, okay, you have diabetes. Like, and then maybe her platform is diabetes. I just think that it's just so commonplace that it's hard to use that as the key to you standing out. And she probably thought it worked too, until someone else showed up who was also dealing with diabetes too, which does suck. It is a huge thing, something I worry about all the time, but I know I'm predisposed to myself like too. It bothers me all the time. So the conversation needs to be had. But I think that when it comes to, and this is just in the industry period, I notice this all the time, people will harp on one thing and make that their core personality traits and their brand, and they mention it in all three phases of competition, and you don't have to. Tell the judges one-on-one when you're talking to them. Put it in your bio maybe once for fitness. But my light just went out. I was just thinking about that light going out. But to have this be a continuous issue, for me, makes no sense. Yeah, I lost my light. Nope, it's gone. Okay. Let's see if it's right. Lost my light. Does that make sense, you guys? I don't know. And please don't cancel me for that. Because I am being honest. And from a coaching standpoint, I understand wanting to do it and wanting to mention it because it's obvious. You're going to see my blood glucose. Might as well mention it. Might as well make it my statement. But how many times can you tell me that you are a lesbian? But you know what I did think about? I do know a lot of kids are facing, and I'm not really, like I said, my brother deals with that, so I'm not really in the space to comment on people's experiences at all when it comes to LGBTQ. I am just in the space where if you want to make it normalized as a pageant contestant, I would have let it go in one of the categories. And I don't think she needs to mention it in gown. I'm sure it came up during an interview. And I don't think she needs to mention it 3 times. You got a partner that's a woman. Like, I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just so lax in my feelings about it. Like, I really genuinely don't look at people for their sexuality. You know, I think specifically only that part. I think being gay is normal now. Now, if something else was something, like if she was transgender, you know, that's still becoming normalized in the industry. So, of course, talk about it because it's going to be like obvious where I can see it. But I don't think that if it's something that's regular, or let's say you have like a speech impediment, that's something that you can't get past. I grew up with speech impediment. If I still had that problem, I would probably have to tell people that all the time, or they could see, she is kind of stuttering quite a bit, maybe it's something that people don't talk about or won't ask questions about, but you'll notice it when I open my mouth. I don't notice that you're gay. So I would just say it once and then let it ride, because we know. But to me, it's not changing the way I see you. You're still open to criticism. Fortunately, like I said, I think she did a great job. That's why I don't think it was necessary to keep mentioning it. I think she did fine as is. And I think she gave a great answer in her answer's question. But it was her gown commentary specifically that I was like we know. You guys remember that scene in Hercules? Whatever. Anyway, so I think Hawaii did fine. And then she earned my golden ticket for advancing. But I do hope she continues the conversation, because I was just talking about it too. This is why I wish I had co-hosts. So maybe someone else could tell me that I'm wrong. And I could very well be wrong. That's just my opinion. From a coaching standpoint, there's some things you mentioned 3 times, because we do have 3 opportunities to address the judges' interview and the commentary on stage when our bios are read, and on stage question. So there are times when it's necessary to repeat something 3 times. Deshauna Barber is a prime example of that. I mentioned that she was in the military. It happened to work because her on-stage question was about women in service. And so she mentioned it again. It works because that's what she does. And it was the question. But if it would have came up, if she would have had, why are puppies so important to mental health? I don't think she would have mentioned her military experience at all. Maybe she would have said something like, we have dogs at training camp to help us through boot camp. But I don't know. That's just my take. Take it or leave it. All right. So then next I have, after Hawaii, I have Iowa. Oh, I have Illinois. Iowa, this is a gown. This is still talking about gown. So sorry, you guys. Kansas, Maryland, and I starred Maryland. Missouri, North Carolina, North Dakota. Oh, I starred North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, and I started Ohio. Is that 3? That is 3. Ohio made 3. I'm gonna go and take it to finals. Pennsylvania. And I started Pennsylvania. I'm getting this thing real, you guys. Rhode Island. Okay, Rhode Island. Tennessee. Oh, I started Rhode Island. Tennessee. Texas. Virginia. Washington. And I started her. And I think actually that makes 3 as well. Oh no, it is. Wisconsin and Wyoming. And then Florida, North Dakota, and Texas. Florida, North Dakota, and Texas, 1 gown. So out of the 3 or 2 competitions, out of the 6, I got 5 out of 6. I did not have Florida on my radar. Must have missed it. I apologize for that. But she won gown prelims. It means I must have missed something that judges saw. Okay. So let's just keep this thing going. I'm going to say goodbye to my I had 210 people watch my TikTok, you guys. Okay. I need a light. Okay. Let's just bring this back over here. Let's see if this does anything for me. Barely. Okay. Because I don't have a light now, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I mean, like downstairs. Okay, so overall, let me see if I have any more notes. Love the word video. Oh, also for Gal, I love the pictures by Carlo Velez. Those were really pretty. And I love how they used them backstage behind the girls for Gal. I love that. Overall, the production is fine. Of course, it's not the big one, the big shiny production that I would like to see with Miss America that we saw in the past. But overall, I think where they are is just fine. Okay, so the girls who I am looking at, and mind you, this is without talent, so I don't really know, you know, a fifth of the competition. 1, 2, 3, a fifth of the competition. So that sucks. But based on what I don't know 2/5. I don't know interview either. So I'm only going off of fitness, question, and evening gown. So I have really nothing to go off of. But based off Ante's question, I think I can tell you how I feel about interview. So the people who are like the most who excelled in fitness, on stage, question, and gown for me was Arkansas, Hawaii, Ohio, and Wisconsin. And of course, I have Illinois, because I'm always going to cheer for the home team. Okay. And then I also have on here Georgia, Massachusetts, Texas, and Illinois. So then when it comes to adding, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I added 3 more girls, it would honestly probably be, I already have Texas. It will probably be Louisiana. I actually did like Louisiana. And question. I also think the second half of the contestants came stronger. Like pretty much from S down, M down, they all came really, really strong. I would put Louisiana up there. I want to also add Pennsylvania. I'm going to add PA. She also got my 3. I have her for fitness, on stage, and gown. I'm sorry I missed that. And I liked her in gown. So let's do Pennsylvania. I'm going to need one more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I need one more. And I think that it's going to be, actually, I think I have one more girl. And I want to add, where's she at? You guys, I'm stuck. I need one person. I think that, Oh, is she already on here? Massachusetts already on there. I think I'll flip add Massachusetts, you guys. I want to add, I think I want to add Iowa. Oh, Iowa made my list. Iowa made all 3. Oh, I missed that. Oh yeah, I missed it. Iowa also made all 3. I do like Iowa, but I also like Wyoming too. I don't think that she's just gonna make it out that last. I think her being last worked for her. That's when you have last privileges. Like in the order, I think Wyoming will do really, really well. But Pennsylvania order. I might have all 3. Okay. So, and I had Iowa for all 3 too. Okay. So I think Miss America 2025 is going to come from the Midwest. I'm not saying it. I think it's gonna come from the Midwest. I think we got it this year. We already started with Arkansas, the team. So I think maybe the Miss can deliver. I truly believe. That Arkansas, Georgia, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Ohio, Wisconsin, Texas, Illinois, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Wyoming. Pennsylvania, to me, she kind of went under my radar. I think she might be consistent. You know, sometimes it's the consistency. Okay, that's it. I said it. So if I was to choose somebody, well, Pennsylvania is not the Midwest. Is that kind of like on the coast? Yeah, it is on the coast, isn't it? Because you have Philly. That's not the Midwest. Pennsylvania, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Ohio, I also like Nebraska too. I like Georgia. I pretty much like everybody, you guys. Oh, Louisiana too. I do like Louisiana. Okay. I feel like Miss America is going to come from, I hate to be so definite. I think Miss America 2025 or 2025 is going to come from Arkansas, Georgia, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, or Ohio. And that's my predictions. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this entire long episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see. We'll see. And mind you guys, I also, like I said, life would help a lot more if I had access to talent. So I could see what they're at least coming with. But real quick, let me just look to see who won the talent. Oh, right here, yes. Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. And Pennsylvania's up there. Tennessee and North Carolina. Yeah, and I did and North Carolina also won. Oh no, she didn't. That's South Carolina. Never mind. North Carolina and Tennessee. Yeah, I like Tennessee and gown. Pennsylvania has talent outfit alone, looks nice. And who? North Carolina. Oh, I like North Carolina and gown. North Carolina and Tennessee, I both like in gown. And Pennsylvania, I like all three of them in gown. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't be surprised if maybe something like Pennsylvania, maybe. Pennsylvania. For whatever reason, I'm drawn to Arkansas. I mean, just look at this picture. That's a strong picture. I also am pulling for Wisconsin. T1 Fitness. I also love Pennsylvania. I mean, look at that picture. Yeah. I guess you gotta wait and see because it's anyone's game. I don't know what they're looking for. I do know we have 2 black judges, so that may come in handy for Georgia. Or I also do like Georgia. And did I have Georgia? Oh yeah, I had Georgia in all 3. How did I miss that? You guys. You gotta catch me on this. I like Georgia's question, and I had her in all 3. I also have California in 2. Oh, it's anyone's game. Honestly, it's anyone's game. Okay, so I'm adding Georgia's my list too. I think Georgia was really good. I think her team also did really good too. Her team did really, really good. Okay, you guys. I'm done talking. I didn't list off 50 contestants. But I think those are the strongest people, personally. Arkansas, Georgia, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Ohio, Wisconsin, Texas, Illinois, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Wyoming. Mark my words, Miss America is going to come from that list. And I will be here to tell you guys. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I love you, in fact. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye. Happy Miss America Day.